Hello, this is Juan Flugelman Hammer, and this is my usability testing report. Today I want to cover a few things of what I've done for this report, starting with an executive summary, and then what we, or the Flugel Inc., which is my fictitious company, have been doing with LexisNexis, what we're doing now, our findings for this particular study, and then a summary and next steps. So, in this particular phase of our research, which is a usability evaluation, we are concentrated on the customer experience as they perform several tasks on the LexisNexis bookstore. And the goal was to identify usability problems and determine the user's satisfaction with the website itself. Some key aspects of this study, we are talking about remote users in this case, without a moderator to allow truly free feedback. We measured how easy or hard it was to use the LexisNexis bookstore, and this gave us a good quantitative and qualitative results as well. Some key findings I will cover in depth a bit later. We have, of course, positive and also negative findings. On the positive side, users generally found the bookstore pleasing and well designed. They thought it was easy to navigate and also simple to complete a basic purchase. On the not so good feedback, they said that the bookstore was not distinctive enough, the graphics were not clear, and the non-print product options were hard to find, and that the product information was quite incomplete. So, as you know, for the past month, we have been conducting several user-related studies that gave us powerful, actionable information, and we thought it would be a good idea to go back and quickly look at the findings for those studies. So, as you probably recall, we started with an expert study, in which we call a heuristic evaluation. In that test, we found that the search results were not always the same when searching for the same product. That the layout was not consistent throughout the site, and the product pages seemed incomplete. And then we continue with a study in which we basically created a typical user persona and asked this person to complete or accomplish regular tasks in what we called a cognitive walkthrough. The findings of this study were there are too many mobile options to choose from with no clear information. And the layout and the coloring did not help distinguish between options. There was a bad system performance, and there was actually an inconsistent language between subscription options. Finally, and very recently, we looked at what our competitors were doing in the field in our competitive analysis, and we found that the competition has clearer pricing and subscription information, that they constantly bombard users with opportunities for upsell, showing user reviews or recommendations, and also there's a better link between print and non-print products in their bookstore. So, based on that, what we're doing now is a what we call a usability evaluation, which will look and try to find out how users perceive the buying experience. In this case, instead of having one persona or an expert, we're actually asking a large group of people to look at the site and perform several tasks. So the goal of this is to measure the experience in three areas as they relate to the Nexus bookstore. We're looking at the layout, we're looking at the ease of use, and we are looking at the product information. So some additional details on this particular test. We use two websites, Loop11 and usertesting.com. 50 Loop11 users that provided us a good source of quantitative analysis results, and three usertesting.com testers that provided us a very in-depth qualitative information about the bookstore. We asked all of them to perform the same tasks, which were to look around the website, search and select a product, add additional non-print formats to their order, and to buy related content. So, what were the findings of this particular task? First off, let's start with the layout, and we ask our users to look around, basically look around our home page, our website. Most of the feedback was very positive, with 70% of the users finding it easy to navigate and telling us that it was pleasing. That was a very pretty navigable website, and then I can see products and it's very easy to find. And the other part of the group, between 20 and 23%, mentioned that it was not easy to navigate, and they mentioned that if they didn't know it was a legal bookstore, they would not know what they were looking at. They thought it was too clogged. There were too many books, and the icons were too small. When we switch to the ease of use, we tasked our users to search and select products and to add additional non-print formats. In this particular area, as well, pretty positive feedback from our users in the 70s and 80%. Most of them found it easy to use, easy to find a title, easy to find a monthly edition, and easy to buy a multimedia bundle. They even said verbatim, it was easy to find products, but the navigation made sense, and they like how they would actually see the product itself and on the book title. However, we should not forget that a quarter of the users did not have the same possible experience, and they mentioned, similarly to what we had discovered in our cognitive walkthrough and our heuristics evaluation, that they thought the page produced too many options in terms of the monthly and weekly editions, and that they didn't understand all the ebook options presented on the product page, and that they were not sure which of the subscriptions they should choose. So these are verbatim feedback from the in-depth users, which I thought we should all know. Although again, mostly is positive. This a fifth of the users' opinions should be considered as well as we move forward. Finally, when we talk about product information, we ask them to buy additional products and related content. In this case, we did not have a very positive feedback. Just around a fifth of them, I think it was easy to search for other related content, to find product information, and to buy related content. The rest of the users did not feel so positive about it. And nearly half of them thought that searching for other content was difficult. Excuse me. 77% of them thought that finding product information was difficult, and almost 80% thought that buying related content was indeed difficult. What we heard verbatim on this group that were not satisfied with the product information experience was that the publisher name was confusing. As you know, some products mentioned Lexis and Nexis, some others mentioned Matthew Bender, and they were asking how come this is a Lexis and Nexis site and I have content from other publishers. Similar to other screens and other studies, they were surprised at that many options for ebooks. We have Mobi, EPUBs, XML, and other options which should be considered. The related products, as they said, are not readily available, with most books only giving 3 additional books for related content. They thought it was not enough. Again, if it's just on the ebook formats, and all of them mentioned verbatim, and they were surprised that there wasn't a table of contents when looking at a particular project, a particular product. I'm sorry. So overall, not the best experience while they were dealing with product information. So, summarizing our findings, these are the findings I believe need immediate attention. And in terms of the layout, the bookstore feel doesn't seem specific enough to Lexis and Nexis. There's too much going on that particular home page, and the icons are too small. It feels, based on the feedback, too clogged. Ease of use, several confusing options in terms of the ebooks on the additional content, and also they're not sure to which subscription option they should engage with. There's not enough information about it. Finally, on the product information page, most of the users thought that they were missing related content, that the book information was was not complete enough, and that there were too many, ebook formats to choose from. What can Alexis do to improve this website based on this particular study and the 50 users from our Loop 11 experience and the 3 in-depth users from user.com, usertesting.com, and in terms of the layout was to make a clear visual legal reference to say, this is a legal bookstore, this is LexisNexis, this is a solid source for your content. Add more white space, meaning reduce a number of items in a particular screen, and emphasize titles as the user looks through the home page. In terms of ease of use, eliminate monthly and weekly options. There's too much going on. It's confusing for a user who has never seen anything like that before. And also better explain subscription differences. What is yearly versus evergreen, etc. Most comments related to this. It is a confusing step in the buying process. In terms of product information, add more related content to a product. Something very easy is to add a table of contents. Customers want to see what they're buying before purchasing this very expensive books, and also group ebook formats in a way that makes more sense to the customer who considers an ebook and doesn't know the difference between MOBI format or EPUB format, etc. So, conclusion and in a way closing at this, we truly believe that by executing the suggested changes, LexisNexis will be able to position itself as a solid, trusted source of print legal content. That will modernize its e-commerce experience for a changing demographic. It will increase its sales of bundled products, print and not print, and also rise as a key player in the multimedia and non-printed products. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and please do not hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.